Oh, we're live.
We are indeed.
Awesome, awesome. And I don't think I've heard Kyle's voice yet recently.
Clicking all the things.
Clicking all the things. Fair enough.
Since we're just settling in and we're already live, I just want to give a shout out to GW, who was awesome and got a whole bunch of people on his other social media feeds. I just want to tell him thanks so much for helping us all out to get to level 2.
Absolutely. And thank you to everybody who has helped out. As you may have just heard, the orphans of the Warren of Unwanted Burden are now level 2. Congratulations. Some extracurricular activities pushed them over the edge and also ticked them up a step or two on a to be later revealed. Important to know right now, though, is that they are standing on the southeastern side of the Temple of Chauntea. Surrounding the temple, a horde of kobolds, cultists, ambush drakes, and a fellow who looks like he might be in charge, unlike the other cultists whose leather masks look like they might have served a purpose as a boot in a previous life. His looks shiny and purposeful, and he's not carrying a giant log, he's yelling at the people carrying the giant log. Closer to hand, though, on the south side of the temple, 2 cultists are working frantically to try and start a fire at the rear door. Several kobolds are playing in the smoke, blowing smoke rings and pretending to be dragons, much to the entertainment of a few. The party's plan to form an evil square and don the cloaks of felled cultists and their mask has allowed them to move to the south side of the temple. Dusk, seeing that this is going on from her place within the keep, has rushed over, perhaps with important news. Before we kick off, though, I'd like to make everyone aware of 2 things. First, a parade is marching around the temple. The kobolds in the parade, here on the western side, are spinning bull roarers. If you've never heard one, it's a horrible sound. It goes something like... I can't do it. Anyway, horrible sound. And when you've got a lot of them going at once, it's just a huge droning noise. So there's a lot of noise over there. The other thing that's important is someone who was asked to roll a d20 and encouraged to roll very high, rolled a 5. Now, with those magical numbers in mind, I'm going to ask what our party members currently look like. Because we met them a short while ago, perhaps an hour, hour and a half, and they were refreshed and rested after a journey. Now, they've been down a grubby little tunnel, through some water, across a field, donned some cloaks. Some of them are wearing a little extra makeup. So I will ask, Joey, I think you are in the back of the group carrying firewood. What do you look like right now?
Well, right now, I mean, we've got some metal armor, which is a little bit banged up. It's a little bit worse for wear, especially after mucking through a tunnel of actual shit. Trying to, use my cloak while carrying firework to kind of clean that off. And I imagine that this mask is probably a little bit too small. And I'm probably going to be constantly trying to readjust that as well. Kind of like I'm trying to scratch my face on firework through the mask, but really I'm just trying to adjust that mask.
Fair enough. Now, standing alongside you would be Chloe. Chloe's gone through some adventures as well. Chloe, what are you looking like?
Chloe's been up and down today. She's probably trying to fit into the cloak. She's got that high ponytail going on, so she's trying to keep that, but it's creating a weird silhouette. And then, with the shield in one hand, trying to make it so that she can whip it out when need be. She probably looks very lumpy and awkwardly shaped. But, just trying to make sure that she keeps her wits about her. She's on board with the firewood idea. And is basically just trying to keep an eye on all the enemies because there's a lot of them. We're pretty well surrounded right now.
That is true. Now, I remember from the close of our last session, Dawn's evil genius eyeglass glint helped move you through your enemies, convincing them of the nefariousness of your plans and the evilness of the square. But Dawn, beyond the glass glint, what have you got going on? Whoop, Dawn, do I have you muted?
Matthew? Hello?
Oh, now I heard you.
Okay, so he's slightly less bulky since he took his armor off, which I don't know if people understood why he did that, but he was very angry about it. He still has the mask on. His fur is all wet. He is trying to keep his ears pressed back against his head so the cloak sits right. But what he ended up having to do was put the mask on and then put his glasses on over it because it was just not working any other way. So the glasses are sort of holding it in place, but he has the hood pulled down as far as he can because he is a furry cat person and he hasn't seen another one like him other than his sister. And he's just sort of hunkered down and glaring at anything that gets too close.
Right. Now, along with the evil glass glint, we had Telays leading off, perhaps a little too kind-hearted looking, though, not as maniacal. Telays, what do you look like, though?
So probably a little bit more confident than the rest of the group. I have no problem showing my face, so the cloak is actually just resting on top of her head. The hood of the cloak is just resting on top of her head. So like, because she predominantly would look human-ish, as long as you don't look at her ears, which is why the cloak is still pulled up. She's got like a couple of things of firewood in her arms. She's not very much because she's not going to carry that much stuff because that'll be way too cumbersome for her. The cloak just kind of, she's wearing it confident. She's acting like this is exactly where she's supposed to be. Everything is fine. Nothing is broken. So she's not really like hiding because she doesn't really need to. She's wearing the mask very well though.
All right. And before we jump over to Dusk to see how you're making your approach, I'm going to ask something I've been wanting to ask all week. Waverly, please describe what you look like.
Waverly looks quite a bit like a drowned rat in makeup right now. She's disguised as a kobold, but underneath that cloak, her fur is wet and then it's grimy and sticking up in really gross ways, and she really wants a bath. She really wants a bath. She's got to keep her tail underneath the cloak because it doesn't look like a kobold tail. But her face is all made up and there's lots of makeup, and she actually looks quite a bit like a kobold if you look at her face. Of course, she is going to have to wash all this makeup and paint out of her fur, so that's going to be fun too. She really, really wants that bath.
Fair enough. Living the glamorous life of an adventurer. So coming upon this evil square, Dusk makes their way past the kobolds, faking it along as well. Dusk, you're a little fresher than the others, but what do you have? What ensemble have you assembled?
Sorry for the delay. There's sirens outside, so I had to temporarily mute myself.
It's not sirens. That's a bull roar.
Okay, so Dusk is she slipped by donning some of the same cloaks and outfits that our enemies here are wearing, and as long as she moves quickly enough and with purpose, they have left her alone. She is in better shape. She is rested up. She has avoided the chaos of the last session, and she has some news to share with everyone the instant she catches up to them.
All right. So let's go ahead and kick in that instant. Dusk, you do draw close to the others. A little bit of whispered conversation is common enough among the cultists, and the two in the smoke can just barely see you. In fact, you can't even see the other guy. You just know he's there because the first is yelling at him. What would you guys like to talk about I'll give you a couple of minutes, and then we're going to kick off the timer and countdown when we find out why 5 might be important.
That's terrifying and not ominous at all.
No,
Yeah, incredibly worrying things.
Right. Anybody else feel slightly pressured?
Just a little.
Just a tad. Alrighty, well, Dusk needs to catch up to everyone immediately. And the first thing she's going to do is pounce on everyone and be like, guys, I know I'm a little bit late, but I just heard that they're going after the mill, and I think we're going to have a much bigger problem if we don't deal with that as soon as possible.
The mill. But I thought we were here to rescue people out of the temple.
Yeah, well, I overheard the other ones talking about burning down the mill, so...
There's no people in the mill.
Do we know that for sure?
I saw them going towards it.
But we mean like people holed up in the mill.
Yes.
Hold on, I need to check my...
We...
I spent a lot of time down south, and yes, that's the accent that we're going to be sticking with. Thank you, Spell Plague. Where exactly is the mill? Not exactly remembering right now.
The map is really huge, so
It was the guards who spotted it, but... And if I zoom out, maybe I can see where the mill actually is. But yeah, Excavator, or however you pronounce his name, he's the one who told me to come get you guys for help.
He's the one who sent us here. He should make up his mind. Food or people?
Okay, so where in the giant map is it?
is it this building on the river down on the other end of the map? Shit, that's a long way.
So seeing Dusk come up, Chloe's initial reaction would be like, yes, finally more help, and Dusk is back, yay. And then hearing this, she'd be like, well, we can't save everybody.
One problem at a time. That she's absolutely right.
We have to deal with what's in front of us. And then, by all means, save all the people. But right now, we're here. Do what we can where we are.
Alrighty, but if that thing burns, then everybody's gonna starve.
Who did they tell you was over in the mill?
Went to the raiders.
So it's entirely possible that it just might be loot and supplies, not people.
No, not people. I'm talking about the guards who told me to go over there.
We can't very well just take off. People have seen us here.
Yeah, we're here now. We came all this way.
I don't like this. Okay, fine. Let's just kick all our butts and get going.
There's people in there who could die. We've got to go. We've got to do this.
Hey. Come on with the firewood. Smoke, you'll be fine. I mean, take a year or two off.
I'm all for trying to get over to the mill after we rescue the people that we came all this way to save.
Yeah,
but
are there any extra, did we grab any extra cloaks? If so, could I toss one to Dusk? Because I'm guessing Dusk doesn't have anything.
Oh, no, Dusk's in a cloak.
Dusk has acquired a cloak on the way over. It looks like she might have detoured south to where some other cloaks were available on people previously dispatched by the party.
Yeah, Chloe would be like, afterward, Joey, go ahead. Give him the firewood. Give him the firewood, Joey. Go.
Wow. I mean, how can I say no?
Come on. No, it'll be fine. as Joey moves forward, the cultist kind of, boy, wow, just right back there. Seems to have a little bit of a tough time in the smoke, but he points you towards the back door, where they've got a pretty good sized pile of wet hay that's producing all this smoke, and a couple of little flames, but nothing to write home about. From the front of the building, however, you hear the boom as as the ram slams against the front door, and of course to the west, you hear the singing and marching and bull roars of the kobolds and cultists.
They're trying to smoke them out then.
It looks more like they're trying to burn down the temple, but doing a piss poor job of it.
Well, I gave them too much credit then.
Because there doesn't appear to be a way for the smoke to get into the temple, except maybe drifting under the eaves up top. Yeah, you're like, ooh, these are not smart guys. You could show them how to do it much better if you'd like.
Is he breaking up for anybody else?
Yes, he's breaking up a whole bunch.
Yes, he
Sorry.
is.
I mean, as much as I love Robot Casey, don't get me wrong.
Sorry about that. Let me see if there's anything I can do on my end.
Meanwhile, while I'm distracted with the DM, what was the plan again? How are we getting these people out?
It may not be Casey's because you just did the exact same robotic thing.
No.
Maybe it's just Discord dying.
It's everybody sound. We're all robots.
I think we're all
Sound
robots.
fine. Am I a robot?
A tiny bit.
But yeah, no, this plan though.
Yeah, so we distract these guys, and how do we get the people out? I remember the firewood. That was a good idea. I don't remember if we actually figured out how to.
Does anyone know if there's another way in?
Are there windows?
Well, from what I hear, there's people traveling around the whole thing, playing that music, so they're gonna see us climbing into a window or climbing out. So,
is there if we move through the smoke closer to the back end, would there be any way we could see the structure of the back here that's covered by smoke? Yes, no, maybe.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking maybe we just use the smoke to our advantage. We help them get the back door open. Once we get the back door open, they still think we're with them, then we just kill all of them and then usher out all the people under the smoke?
There is a lot of them, especially on their way.
Oh,
I mean,
as we're planning.
If we wait for a rotation, like when they just go by, maybe.
there is a lot of smoke giving us cover, so, I mean, can we take these 6, 7, 8 that we can see? We've done worse.
If we make too much noise, they're gonna come running from the other side.
And then we will have a lot of trouble.
I
Could have them
understand.
go watching, but
If anybody's got a better idea, though, this seems to be our only one.
I'm wondering, I mean, is the smoke thick enough here to provide cover? Can I sneak up and murder them without anybody noticing?
So the smoke itself provides light obscurement just by being within it. After 15 feet, you would be heavily obscured. So you can only see about 15 feet in the smoke. You know where the kobolds are based on the sounds they make and the cultist who's calling for the firewood.
So what, do we go and pick our own kobold, go stand next to him, and on the count of 1, 2, murder, we just, try and kill him and then break the back door open?
Hell, I say, why don't we have them open the back door for us?
we could take their place in the smoke so no one notices that anyone's missing.
Yep.
Oh, yes, that is a good idea.
I mean,
If we can find them in the smoke.
Well,
Oh, okay.
I
So,
can hear him.
so where did you need that firewood? I can't see anything. Where's everybody else?
Oh, just come on back. It's just this way. Just don't bang your head on the door, or look
Oh,
over at me.
okay.
You're a big fella.
Oh, hell no.
Gotta
No, no,
carry.
Don't
No,
tell
no,
me he
no, no,
just
over
walked
here,
up in
over here.
that
Come on,
box.
buddy.
This way.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Sorry.
over here.
Sorry, little kobold.
No, there you are. Hey, how you doing?
Oh, Joey, wait for me. I got firewood too. Oh, sorry, wrong way, kobold. Sorry. I'm sure you have a name. My bad.
Would you guys get in the line? Come on now. Yeah, right on here.
I don't like it.
So, guys, hang on. Are we all going to kill kobolds, or are we all grouping up on the front? I'm confused.
Oh, hold on,
We're gonna
sneak.
Joey. I dropped one over here by this kobold over here. Sorry, I'll be. Hold on.
Kobolds speak Draconic, don't they?
Kobolds do speak Draconic. Draconic and Common.
Okay.
I don't like Common, though. It makes them sound silly.
Can I
Alright.
see on Harvey with him seeing me?
And
Dusk is keeping quiet.
Edgar is gonna watch the parade and squawk when they start getting too close.
Sounds good.
Oh my gosh, it looks like I've dropped 1, 2, 3 piles of wood.
That was awesome. So here's what we're gonna need. That was a well-executed plan. There's already the stealth. I'm going to need a stealth from everybody else as well. And because of the obscurement, nope, you're standing next to everybody, so just a straight up stealth from everybody else.
That's not bad for me, I guess.
Oh, wow. I did good.
All right. And two important numbers come into play here. One of those is 8. The other is 10. And looking over at my list, all the numbers that you have provided seem to be higher than that. You will have a surprise round. Cultists and kobolds will not have the opportunity to act until the second round. So if I could ask everybody to please click your tokens and add yourselves to the initiative order. And then I think perhaps mayhem is the plan.
He said that for my benefit because I keep forgetting to click my token.
We all do it sometimes, don't worry.
Look, I clicked my token and look how good I did.
Yay, good job!
Guess I really am distracted by my dropped firewood. What the hell?
You had to do the countdown. The countdown was important.
Yeah, it was very important.
And 3 is 2 and more, so you've stunned the kobolds with your grasp of numbers.
2 and more.
There we go. Eventually, we're going to have to explain that to other people, but not yet, because to Lays, there is a kobold standing next to you in the smoke, looking up at you with watery kobold eyes from playing too long in the soot. What are you doing?
Okay. So the plan is to kill these people, right?
Yes, assassination, pretty much.
Okay, and so he's looking at me, so there's no like sneak attack or anything happening, right?
This is a straight up surprise, so if you have any bonuses based on surprise, you get that. But this isn't a hiding attack. You're not hidden.
Okay. All right, and I don't think I have any bonuses based on surprise of any kind that I know of.
Waverly, you're the
Do
exception to that. You actually tried to hide, I think.
Okay. I want that sneak attack.
Yeah, absolutely. But Talays, you were just, a little shifty about the knife you're about to stab into somebody or things.
Well, yeah, that's probably exactly what's gonna happen. I'm probably gonna I've got my dagger in hand, and he's right there looking up at me with his watery eyes, and I'm gonna try and slit his throat.
Fair enough. Let's see an attack roll. Oh no!
Wasted my good roll, guys.
You have.
No, you use the sharp side of the dagger when you slit a throat. He's just a little surprised about the massage. Any additional action, bonus action, or movement?
Did she use her inspiration there, or is that you have to do it beforehand?
Must be declared beforehand. So inspiration will give you advantage on any roll, but it has to be called before you do it.
I will take a bonus action.
Okay.
I will take a bonus action, and I will. I can do a bardic inspiration for anybody who can hear me. So everyone's close enough that I can pick someone to inspire. I'm going to inspire. You know what? I'm gonna inspire Dawn. Because he's closest to me, and he also is in the same kind of predicament I am when it comes to attacking things close up. And go. I'm just gonna turn him and like shout an encouragement of, "Hey Don, you're looking good, bud," and not mention that I fucked up Royal, and give him his inspiration. Give him an inspiration.
Is bardic inspiration different?
Bardic inspiration is different. He can add it after, but before you can use a bardic inspiration die after your roll. It does not. It's not the same as the standard inspiration. If he doesn't like the roll he gets, he can immediately choose to roll that dice as well and add that.
Well, bardic inspiration is a D6, I think.
Words and things mean things. Well, it doesn't pull it up for me. Thanks.
Well, as we get that, any additional movement? Otherwise, we'll move to Waverly to see what our mouse folk are doing.
I'm not gonna move because otherwise I get smacked in the face.
Fair enough. Waverly, Harvey has no idea that you're there at all. What are you doing?
Well, I am going to stab him in the stomach. Like
I don't think he's going to appreciate that.
Where it hurts the most.
With advantage. With advantage.
With advantage, because he can't see me.
17 is going to hit poor Harv. And he's already dead, but if you'd like, I think you have sneak attack damage.
I do have sneak attack.